My big thing is when I train agents how to sell insurance, I think it's important to spend a lot of time effectively pre-qualifying and better defining the need, the desire, and the urgency behind the insurance sale. The main reason that we do this is because it allows us to really get down to the core of what's motivating the prospect to potentially be interested to buy our product and better define what it is that is most important to them. Many times, the objections that people have are because we didn't effectively pre qualify our prospects to begin with. So, I think an honest approach to dealing with objections is to really sit down and think what are the potential objections a prospect is going to come up with, and then design our sales presentations to overcome those objections in order to deal with them before they become a big problem. And just like Eric says here, pre-qualifying the lead greatly reduces this potentiality. Absolutely. I think this is something that's missed out in a lot of sales training. It's very sexy to talk about the awesome Ben Franklin close that you could use and the objection rebuttals that sound great. I mean, they make for great, visuals, and they sound awesome, and it's an ego stroke. But the truth is, a lot of these objections could have easily been handled well in advance. And in fact, that's how you should design your program. One tactic that I learned to handle objections and as a way to pre-qualify in advance to make sure you never hear them is think about the top 5 objections that you're going to hear with your particular product. So let's say it's final expense life insurance. What I hear, if I were just to go in and say, hey, I'm selling this thing called life insurance to take care of final expenses. Do you want to buy it? Here's the price. And I'm just going to take a, ambiguous or just a random number, $100 a month. Well, the objections that I'll hear to that will be most likely, why do I need life insurance? I don't need life insurance. Maybe someone will say that. And then if I rebuttal that, I'll hear something like, well, I can't afford that. That's too expensive. I don't want it. So there's pricing. There's also things like, oh, my health stinks. I've got, a little bit of high blood pressure. So there's this belief of that I can't health qualify. Or you may even get something like, hey, my family will pay for it. Yeah. And so, and then you got other things like really more conditional aspects to the buying insurance, especially final expense specifically. Can we bank draft premium? And so these are the most common objections that I hear when I sell final expense. So my approach to selling really is based around pre-qualifying the stuff out to begin with. So for example, one thing I'll say is, I want to know what were your reasons for sending back this card or requesting information. That builds need, that uncovers need and desire and urgency. It also, I'll ask, what do you want to accomplish with your plan? I'll pre-qualify their health to know if they can even qualify, which most of the times they do. But it also sends a message to the client that I know what I'm talking about and I'm able to work something out for them especially. And then I'll get a bank account so I can draft them. That's more of a conditional objection, not necessarily based off of some, random thing with them. But nevertheless, we can't do business if they can't draft. And then lastly, just as important, I get a budget. So what I work on is pre-qualifying this stuff out ahead of time so that in the close, when I actually present an offer, it's very rare that I hear an objection. And I say rare, but it does happen because again, the only people I present to are what I call qualified prospects. I'm not spending my time presenting to people who in throwing up a presentation on them that may or may not be actually interested.